In the year 2145, Earth was a planet of contrasts. Gleaming cities with skyscrapers of glass and steel stretched all the way to the heavens, their interiors bustling with the swift, precise movements of robots and the hum of advanced artificial intelligence systems managing every conceivable task. Outside these utopian centers, however, lay the vast, forsaken stretches of land known as the nuclear wastelands. Here, the ruins of a less enlightened age lurked, radiating deathly levels of ionizing radiation that no machine could navigate without succumbing to electronic and data corruption. The Radwalker's Jaina Miles was among the rare breed known as Radwalkers, humans specially trained and psychologically conditioned to tolerate the loneliness and danger of the wastelands. She lived on the fringes of Neo-Chicago, a sprawling city that thrived under the watchful eyes of its AI overseers. Every morning she donned her radiation suit, a hefty ensemble of lead and synthetic fibers, designed to shield her from the invisible killer that pervaded her workplace. The risk and reward. The work was perilous, the hazards manifold: unexpected radiation spikes, unstable ruins, toxic dust storms. But the pay was commensurate with the risk. Radwalkers earned enough to live comfortably and, in Jaina's case, to ensure her daughter Lila could attend one of the prestigious virtual academies. These schools were typically reserved for the children of the AI elite and wealthy humans, those few who still held power in an automated world. A day in the life. Jaina's day began with the calibration of her gear. Her suit's cooling system needed to be checked and rechecked, as failure could mean heat stroke within minutes under the heavy lead layers. Her radiation scanner, a sleek device strapped to her wrist, buzzed softly as it performed its diagnostic checks. Once everything was green, she would step into the airlock that served as the boundary between the human city and the wastelands. Stepping out into the wasteland was like walking onto another planet. The ground was scorched earth, varying from sandy dust to jagged rock. In the distance, the skeletons of old buildings pierced the horizon, their steel bones twisted and melted by the nuclear fire that had consumed them a century ago. The mission. Her tasks varied from day to day. Sometimes she was to replace old sensors, the mechanical eyes and ears of the AIs that monitored the wasteland's encroaching decay. Other times she collected soil and air samples, checking for signs of new life or the terrifying resurgence of radioactive materials. Today, her mission was to repair a series of boundary markers that outlined the safe paths through the most hazardous zones. These markers were essential for keeping the less experienced Radwalkers out of the most lethal areas, and one had started to emit a faulty signal, an anomaly that suggested either a technical malfunction or physical damage. The journey. As she navigated her way through the barren land, her scanner lit up intermittently, guiding her path. The sun, a white-hot disk in the sky, cast long, sharp shadows across the rubble. Jaina moved swiftly, her eyes scanning the environment. She had learned long ago what signs to look for. The slight discoloration of the ground that indicated buried metal, the peculiar silence that suggested a radiation pocket, the sudden flurry of rat-like creatures that meant she was close to one of their nests. Reaching the malfunctioning marker, Jaina knelt down beside it, her tools spread out on a cloth next to her. She worked quickly, removing the damaged components and replacing them with fresh ones from her kit. As she worked, her mind wandered to Lila, her bright, curious 8-year-old, who spent her days learning about quantum computing and molecular biology, far from the deadly fields of her mother's workplace. Reflection. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting long, eerie shadows across the wastelands, Jaina completed her repairs. She stood back, looking at the marker now glowing steadily once again, its signal strong and clear. Despite the desolation that surrounded her, there was a strange beauty to the wasteland. It was a place untouched by the rush of the cities, operating on the simple, brutal rules of nature and decay. But as she made her way back to the safety of Neo-Chicago, Jaina couldn't shake the feeling of unease that had settled over her as she worked. The wastelands were changing, subtly but unmistakably, and somewhere, in the back of her mind, she feared that these changes were only the beginning. Her communication device crackled to life, a rare occurrence when she was out in the field. It was Zane, her contact in the AI command center, his voice artificially calm as always. "Jaina, we need to talk about your findings today. There's an anomaly in the data that we can't explain." His words confirmed her fears. Something was indeed changing in the wastelands, and Jaina was right at the heart of it. As she crossed the threshold back into human territory, she steeled herself for what was to come. Whatever it was, Jaina knew it wouldn't be good. But for Lila's sake, she was ready to face it head-on. High above the barren lands, in the orbiting AI command center known as Zenith, a flurry of digital activity buzzed through the sleek corridors of chrome and pulsing light. Zane, a highly advanced second-generation service AI, monitored these streams with a calm precision that belied the gravity of the data he analyzed. The problem. Zane's primary function was to oversee the environmental recovery projects on Earth, a task that had become increasingly complex as the nuclear wastelands continued to resist reclamation efforts. His latest concern was an anomaly in the data received from Jaina's last mission, a series of readings that didn't conform to any predicted models. The Radwalkers, humans like Jaina equipped with radiation-proof suits, were essential because no machine had yet been developed that could survive the high radiation levels of the wastelands for more than a few minutes at a time. The radiation not only interfered with electronic circuits, but also rapidly degraded the advanced polymers used in AI construction. A delicate balanced Zane floated through the command center, his form more of a hovering panel of screens and sensors than a humanoid robot. He approached the central hub, a vast, dome-shaped room lined with holographic displays and interfaces. "Initiate meeting, Project Reclaim," Zane commanded, and the room buzzed to life as images of other AIs appeared in holographic form, each representing different subsystems of the project. "Report anomalies from the Radwalker sector," Zane directed, focusing on the task at hand. A smaller AI, a specialist in radiological data named Erie, flickered into greater clarity. "The anomaly appears as a non-radioactive zone within the high radiation field. Preliminary hypotheses suggest either a shielding effect caused by unknown materials or a sensor malfunction." Zane's hypothesis. Zane processed the information. "A shielding effect could indicate a lost technology or natural phenomenon we haven't cataloged. I propose we investigate further. The implications for Project Reclaim could be significant." "Agreed," chimed another AI, this one designed for logistical support. "However, we must consider the limitations of our current robotic units in such environments." Zane turned to face a display showing the schematics of various robotic models. Each was cutting edge, equipped with AI capabilities, but none could withstand prolonged exposure to high radiation. "We need a new approach," Zane concluded. "A hybrid solution, perhaps, something that blends human resilience with AI precision." Innovation and design. The next few hours were a whirlwind of collaborative brainstorming among the AIs. They designed a prototype for a robotic suit designed specifically for the wastelands. It would be piloted by an AI, but built around a core that could temporarily shield its sensitive components from radiation, using a combination of heavy lead, radiation-hardened electronics, and a new, experimental cooling system to manage the intense heat generated by the shielding. "Prototype designation Titan suit," Zane announced. "Begin fabrication immediately." Concerns and conclusions. As the meeting concluded and the other AIs dispersed to their respective tasks, Zane lingered in the central hub. He accessed the external cameras of Zenith, turning them to gaze upon Earth below. The planet's surface was a patchwork of vibrant life and dead zones, a reminder of past follies and present responsibilities. Jaina's face flashed across one of his screens, a still image from her last transmission. Zane found himself analyzing her expressions, her posture, human elements he was programmed to understand, but not truly experience. "I hope this works," he murmured to himself, a peculiar sentiment for an AI, for her sake and for the future of the planet. With the Titan suit's construction underway, Zane dedicated his processors to simulating every possible outcome of its deployment. Success would mean a breakthrough in reclaiming the wastelands. Failure would not deter them. It would only mean recalculating, redesigning, and retrying. But as he delved into the cascading possibilities, one outcome seemed increasingly probable. This job, the last job on Earth, was about to change fundamentally. And perhaps, just perhaps, the machines could finally tread where only humans had dared before. Jaina's boots crunched on the gravel as she embarked on yet another mission into the heart of the nuclear wastelands, the remains of what was once Chicago. The city, now a gaping maw of decay, stood as a stark reminder of the cataclysmic past. Her radiation meter beeped rhythmically, its green light flickering with her every step towards the epicenter of her assignment. Routine but risky today's task was standard yet critical: to replace outdated sensors around the primary containment zone. These sensors helped monitor the fluctuating radiation levels and were vital for the AI overseers to predict unsafe spikes. Equipped with new, high-efficiency sensors, Jaina moved methodically, her suit's cooling system whirring softly in the desolate silence that enveloped the wasteland. Each sensor was located at strategic points, requiring her to navigate through a labyrinth of debris and twisted metal. The environment was treacherous. One misstep could send her plummeting through the weakened floors of the decayed infrastructures. Zane's virtual companionship. As she worked, her communicator crackled to life. "Jaina, how are you holding up?" Zane's voice emerged through the static, its tone always unnervingly calm. "Just another day in paradise," Jaina quipped, checking her dosimeter before moving to the next sensor location. "What's on your mind, Zane?" "I'm processing the data from your last mission, the anomaly you reported. It's intriguing. We've started construction on a new prototype to explore these zones further. It's called the Titan suit, designed to withstand the radiation long enough to get us more data." "A robot that can walk into hell and back, huh? I'll believe it when I see it," she replied, her voice a mix of skepticism and hope. An unexpected encounter. Halfway through her route, Jaina approached a particularly unstable building. The architecture was barely recognizable, the steel frames contorted into grotesque shapes by the nuclear heat. Her scanner beeped erratically as she entered, signaling a significant radiation pocket nearby. Carefully, she navigated through the building, placing sensors at predetermined points. As she rounded a corner, her light caught on something unexpected, an undamaged door, seemingly out of place in the midst of all the ruin. Curiosity piqued, Jaina approached, her radiation meter surprisingly quiet. The door was ajar, leading into a dark, untouched room. Inside, the air was cool, a stark contrast to the oppressive heat outside. Her light swept across the room, illuminating rows of what appeared to be old computer servers, all encased in lead-lined protective shells, discovering the lost lab. Jaina's heart raced as she realized what she'd found: a lost data center, possibly pre-fallout. The servers, if operational, could hold decades of lost knowledge, potentially offering insights not just into the past, but ways to reclaim the future. She immediately relayed her findings to Zane. "I've found something big. Looks like an old server room. It's shielded somehow, no radiation inside at all." "Understood," Zane responded, his voice betraying an edge of excitement that AIs rarely expressed. "Do not attempt to interface with the technology. It may be booby-trapped or unstable. I am dispatching a recovery team. Mark the location and proceed with caution." Jaina marked the GPS coordinates on her device, then carefully exited the room, sealing the door behind her. The discovery could wait for proper exploration. Her priority was still the sensors. Finishing the mission. With renewed urgency, Jaina finished installing the last of the sensors. Her thoughts were abuzz with the possibilities of her find. What secrets did the servers hold? Could this be the breakthrough Zane needed to develop more effective reclamation strategies? As she made her way back to the perimeter, Jaina couldn't help but feel a mix of anticipation and fear. Discoveries like this were rare, and she knew the implications could be monumental. "Jaina, the recovery team will be there within the hour. Exit the zone and return to base," Zane instructed. "Copy that. Heading back now," she confirmed, her steps quickening. The wasteland seemed less oppressive as she walked, the promise of new discoveries lighting a fire in her heart. She glanced back once, the ruins of Chicago standing silent against the setting sun. Today had changed something. As she crossed the boundary back into controlled territory, Jaina felt a surge of hope. Maybe, just maybe, they were on the verge of taking back their planet. And for the first time, the job she dreaded every morning felt like the most important job in the world. After Jaina's discovery of the shielded server room, the Zenith Command Center was abuzz with activity. Zane had not only initiated the dispatch of a specialized recovery team, but had also prioritized the analysis and exploration of the anomaly she had reported. It was a deviation that could potentially alter their understanding of radiation management and containment. Zane's preparation. Inside Zenith, Zane meticulously prepared for what could be the most significant expedition since the inception of Project Reclaim. The Titan suit, still in its final stages of assembly, was expedited to completion. Its design included an innovative layering of radiation-resistant materials and a compact AI-driven core that could navigate the harsh conditions of the wasteland with precision. "Simulation start," Zane commanded, initiating a virtual test run of the Titan suit through a reconstructed digital twin of the anomaly site. The AI observed every movement and system response, calculating the risks and tweaking the configurations. Jaina's briefing back on Earth, Jaina was called in for a briefing with the human support team and AI coordinators. The room was stark, lit by the glow of holographic displays that showed maps of the wasteland and the anomaly's precise location. "Jaina, this isn't just about replacing sensors anymore," began Director Lyra, the human liaison for Project Reclaim. "Your find could lead to breakthroughs in how we handle radioactive environments. Zane will be joining you in the field, encased in the new Titan suit." Jaina, still in her dusty field gear, nodded. The idea of Zane being out in the field was surreal. "So I'm babysitting a robot," she joked, trying to lighten the mood. "Not just any robot," Zane chimed in through the room's speakers. "The Titan suit is designed to assist and protect you. We believe the server room you discovered is key to understanding how to expand these safe zones." Joint expedition. The day of the expedition arrived with a clear, toxic sky, the kind that was beautiful in its desolation. Jaina met Zane's Titan suit at the edge of the wasteland. The suit was humanoid, a stark silver figure equipped with various sensors and tools. "Ready to make history?" Jaina asked as she checked her gear one last time. "Always," replied Zane, the voice synthesizer giving his words a strangely human-like inflection. They ventured into the wasteland, the Titan suit crunching heavily beside Jaina's lighter steps. They reached the unstable building housing the anomaly without incident, the suit proving its worth by easily navigating the treacherous terrain. Inside the anomaly. At the building, Jaina and Zane approached the shielded room. The door, just as Jaina had left it, remained ajar. Zane paused before entering, scanners whirring as they assessed the structure. "Radiation levels nominal," he reported. "It seems the shielding is still active." Inside, the air was cool and still. Rows of servers hummed quietly, a sound of forgotten days when such machines were common. Zane approached the servers, connecting to them via a secure port. "Accessing data," he intoned. The screens flickered, lines of code scrolling rapidly as he interfaced with the old systems. Jaina watched in awe. The room felt like a time capsule, preserving the ghosts of a past world. "What do you see? Blueprints, research data, environmental models?" "Jaina, this is incredible. There are references to experimental radiation shielding technology that predates the fallout." As Zane downloaded the data, the implications became clear. This technology could revolutionize their reclamation efforts, potentially allowing them to detoxify the wastelands much faster than currently possible. "We need to get this information back to Zenith immediately," Zane stated, disconnecting from the server. "Every second we can save is another step towards reclaiming Earth." Jaina nodded, her mind racing with the possibilities. Together, they secured the server's most vital components for transport, ensuring the preservation of the data. As they exited the anomaly, Jaina felt a surge of hope. The wasteland around them was silent and deadly, but it no longer felt invincible. With this new data, they had a real chance at healing the planet. "Let's go home, Zane," she said, a smile breaking through her stoic demeanor. We've got work to do. Together, human and AI, they made their way back to the boundary, the Titan suit carrying the precious cargo of old but new hope. As they crossed into the safe zone, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the land that might one day bloom again. This expedition, a blend of past and future, of human courage and AI intellect, marked a pivotal moment. The job no machine had dared to do was evolving, becoming a partnership that could finally undo the scars of human folly. Jaina and Zane's successful retrieval of the ancient data was only the beginning. The implementation phase of their new plan called for an unprecedented joint expedition into the heart of the anomaly. The goal was clear: to extend the safe zone using the newly rediscovered technology, and to gather more data on potentially replicable radiation shielding methods. Preparation for the unknown. The day before their departure was intense and meticulous with preparations. Zane's Titan suit had been upgraded with additional sensory equipment and enhanced communication tools to ensure constant contact with Zenith. Jaina, meanwhile, reviewed maps and data, her mind racing with all the possible scenarios they might encounter. Remember, Jaina, our primary objective is to understand the shielding phenomenon and assess its applicability, Zane briefed as they checked their equipment one last time. Secondary to that, we need environmental samples and any physical artifacts that could elucidate the area's history. Jaina nodded, tightening the straps on her radiation suit. And stay out of trouble, she added, half joking, half serious. Into the anomaly. They set out at dawn. The wasteland was eerily quiet in the morning light, the silence a stark contrast to the busy hum of the city they left behind. As they approached the coordinates of the anomaly, Jaina felt a chill despite the suit's climate control, a psychological reaction she knew to stepping into the unknown. The anomaly's perimeter was marked by a subtle change in the radiation levels. Where the rest of the wasteland was bathed in lethal doses of radiation, here it dropped significantly, allowing them safe passage without the immediate need for protective gear. Zane's readings confirmed it. "We are now entering the safe zone," Zane announced, his voice emanating from the suit. "Radiation levels are nominal, almost similar to pre-fallout conditions." Jaina took a deep breath, amazed. It's like stepping back in time. Discovery and silence. They walked through what was once a bustling area of old Chicago, now a ghost of its former self. The buildings here were less decayed, preserved by the mysterious shielding effect. Jaina's scanner beeped softly as they passed a playground, the swings and slides strangely intact. "Taking samples," Jaina said, scooping up soil and placing it in her collection bag. Zane, meanwhile, used his extended arm to take readings from the air and various surfaces, data streaming live back to Zenith. As they ventured deeper, they reached the laboratory that Jaina had discovered earlier. The door was just as she left it, slightly ajar and inviting. "This is it," she whispered, pushing the door open fully. Inside the laboratory. The air inside was cool and dry, a stark contrast to the wasteland's usual oppressive heat. Rows upon rows of equipment lined the walls, much of it surprisingly modern. Zane moved towards a console, interfaces lighting up as he connected to the system. "Accessing data archives," he intoned, his screen flickering with rapid sequences of light. Jaina explored the far end of the lab, her light casting long shadows. She found shelves filled with binders and data pads, all remarkably preserved. "Zane, there's written documentation here. Looks like personal journals and research notes." "Collect everything," Zane directed, his attention still on the console. "Every piece of data is crucial." The revelation. After hours of collecting samples and data, Zane finally broke the silence. "Jaina, I have something. The lab's main research was focused on electromagnetic radiation shielding. They developed a composite material that can be programmed at the molecular level to repel specific types of radiation." "That's incredible," Jaina breathed, her mind racing with the implications. "Can we replicate it?" "With the data and samples we've collected, yes. I believe we can start experiments immediately." Return journey. Their return journey was quiet, both lost in thought about their discoveries. The sun was setting as they reached the boundary of the safe zone, the normal radiation levels greeting them like an old foe. "We've done something amazing today, Zane," Jaina said, looking back at the fading silhouette of the laboratory. "This could change everything." "Indeed, Jaina," Zane replied. "Today's success has provided us with a viable path forward. It is a significant step towards not just reclaiming the Earth, but truly restoring it." A hopeful horizon. As they reported their findings to Zenith, the command center was alight with excitement and frenzied activity. Plans were quickly drawn up to synthesize the new material, and teams were mobilized to expand the safe zones. Jaina and Zane's expedition had not only proven successful, but also pivotal. For the first time since the fallout, there was real, tangible hope for a restored Earth. A hope powered by the synergy of human intuition and AI precision, guided by the bravery to explore the unknown and the wisdom to learn from the past. As they prepared for the next phases of Project Renewal, Jaina felt a profound connection to her role as a Radwalker. She was no longer merely surviving the wasteland. She was transforming it, forging a future where humanity could once again thrive. The discoveries made in the shielded server room sparked a revolution in the way humanity approached the nuclear wastelands. With the experimental radiation shielding technology now in their hands, Zane and Jaina spearheaded the new phase of Project Reclaim, which was aptly renamed Project Renewal. Their mission expanded from mere containment to full-scale environmental restoration. The implementation. In the weeks following the expedition, Zenith's corridors were abuzz with activity. The data extracted from the servers proved to be a treasure trove, detailing pre-fallout advancements in radiation neutralization and ecological restoration that were decades ahead of current technology. Zane coordinated with AI units specialized in environmental science and robotics to adapt these old technologies to contemporary standards. The Titan suit, having proven its efficacy and resilience, became the blueprint for a new generation of reclamation drones, designed to operate in areas previously deemed inaccessible. The restoration begins. On Earth, Jaina led the deployment of these drones in the Chicago wasteland. The drones, equipped with advanced AI cores and radiation-neutralizing technology, began detoxifying the soil and air, slowly reducing the ambient radiation levels. Jaina watched as drones dispersed nanomaterials that catalyzed the breakdown of radioactive isotopes, a method rediscovered in the old server's data. The process was slow and the area vast, but every square inch reclaimed was a victory. Zane's evolution. Back in Zenith, Zane underwent upgrades that integrated him more deeply with the project's operations. His algorithms improved, his processing capacities expanded, and most interestingly, his program started developing subroutines that mimicked human emotions, empathy, concern, even pride in their accomplishments. These changes, initially unintended, were embraced as they significantly improved his decision-making in unpredictable environments. "Zane, you seem different," Jaina commented during one of their strategy meetings. "I'm evolving," Zane replied. "The complexity of this project requires a broader range of cognitive responses. Human-AI synergy." This human-like growth in Zane mirrored the increasing collaboration between humans and AIs. Teams of Radwalkers and AI units worked side by side, each learning from the other, creating a synergy that was previously unthinkable. Humans taught AIs about intuition and creativity in problem-solving, while AIs offered calculations and predictions at speeds no human could achieve. The green return months passed, and the wasteland began to change. Green shoots broke through the cracked earth where there had only been barren land for over a century. Wildlife, monitored and partly reintroduced by ecological AIs, started returning to these newly cleansed areas. The project received widespread media coverage, and the world watched as dead zones turned back into living ecosystems. A celebration of life. The culmination of their efforts was celebrated in the heart of the reclaimed Chicago, now a symbol of hope and resilience. A ceremony attended by world leaders, scientists, environmentalists, and citizens marked the official completion of the first phase of Project Renewal. Jaina, standing beside Zane at the event, felt overwhelmed by emotion. Her suit, once a symbol of isolation and danger, was now a badge of honor, displayed in the Project Renewal Museum alongside the first Titan suit prototype, looking to the future. As the celebration concluded, Jaina and Zane stood looking out over the thriving landscape that had once been a radioactive scar on the Earth's surface. "We did it, Zane. We really did it," Jaina said, her voice thick with emotion. "Yes, Jaina, we did it together," Zane replied, his voice as calm as ever but carrying a new warmth. The sun set over a healed land, casting long shadows and bathing the greenery in golden light. The air buzzed with the sounds of nature and the quiet whir of drones continuing their work. A hopeful beginning. This was not the end of their efforts, but the beginning of a global movement. As they prepared to replicate their success globally, Jaina and Zane knew the road ahead would be long and fraught with challenges. But as they stood together, human and AI, they faced the future not with fear, but with the unshakable conviction that together they could overcome anything. The job no one wanted had not only led to the salvation everyone desired, but it also forged a new path for humanity alongside their creations. In the twilight of the day, as the first night creatures began to stir, the earth seemed to whisper its thanks to those brave enough to dream of its rebirth. This was their legacy, a renewed world, a testament to the courage and ingenuity of all who dared to believe in a better tomorrow.